Okay, welcome back. This is our last video on the unit circle and finding trig values from it. In our last two videos, we've learned how to find cosines, sines, cosecants, and secants of angles. And today we're going to learn how to find tangents and cotangents of angles. So to start here, I got 6 warm-up problems. We should probably make sure we know how to do these 6 before we continue on today. So at this point, pause this video, try these 6 problems, and come back when you have them complete. And there's your answers to these 6 problems. What we need to focus on really today is all the cosines and sines, because that's what we're going to be using all day today in this video. So again, here's the first quadrant of the unit circle. This is something we should have memorized by now. If you don't, go ahead and pause the video, take a look at this. But if you don't have this memorized, it's something that needs to happen very, very soon for your own good. We're going to use these numbers a lot again today. So let's start here. What if I was asked to find the tangent of a 45-degree angle? So last chapter we learned a lot about tangent, and hopefully something you remember about tangent is that tangent is equal to the sine over the cosine of an angle. So if we can remember sine 45 and cosine 45, all we need to do is divide. So let's talk about the coordinate point at 45. The coordinate point at 45, if you remember, is root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2. So then tangent 45 would be sine over cosine. So if root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2, anything divided by itself, we get 1. So tangent 45 is 1. Question 2, what if we're asked to find the cotangent of 315? Well, remember, cotangent is just the reciprocal of tangent. So that's just going to be cosine over sine. Therefore, if we can remember sine 315 and cosine 315, all we need to do is divide from there. Remember, this is not the first quadrant, so we got to use a reference angle. The reference angle for 315 is 45. It's 45 away from 360. We know the coordinate point for 45, but we just did this in the last problem, is root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2. So then cotangent 315 would be root 2 over 2 over root 2 over 2. All right, but however, we have to think, since we're in the 4th quadrant, are either sine or cosine negative? And in the 4th quadrant, x is positive, so cosine is positive, but sine is negative. So the sine would be negative. So we have root 2 over 2 over negative root 2 over 2. Anything divided by itself is 1, so this would be negative 1. What if the angle is given in radians? That's no problem. So we got a question that says, what is tangent pi over 2? Remember that tangent is sine over cosine. Pi over 2, remember pi over 2 is this angle up here. So that point is 0, comma 1. So tangent would be sine over cosine, which is 1 divided by 0. You can't divide by 0. So 1 divided by 0, the tangent of pi over 2 would be undefined. One more. What is cotangent 3 pi over 2? All right, so 3 pi over 2, if you remember, is this point down here. And cotangent, remember, is cosine over sine. So x over y. We know the coordinate point on the unit circle at that point down there is 0, negative 1. So the cotangent is cosine over sine, which is 0 over negative 1. 0 divided by anything is 0, so cotangent 3 pi over 2 would be 0. The last 2 slides, like the last couple days here, are practice. So at this point, you should pause this video, come back, and check your answers after you've tried the practice on the next couple slides. Here's your answers for the first slide. Pause the video if you need to. And here's the answers for the second slide. Again, you can pause this video if you need to look at them any further. And that is it into our look into the unit circle. Thank you very much for checking out my 4-video series. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a lot.